Hi, everybody. Welcome to Winning Mantras, an endeavor to ignite the spirit of competitiveness. Today, we have the winning team of CFA Research Challenge, the Asia Pacific Finalists. Today, we have me, Milan, Shagun, Shivam, and Arushi to share their winning secret with us. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. How are you all doing?
Pretty great. We have just been spending time at home. So everybody is home quarantined. So yeah, just spending time with the family and doing household stuff.
I think apart from this, I recently completed my summer internship with Goldman Sachs, so it has been quite a busy time at home quarantine.
Definitely. I think all the first years have been completing their internships. Let's talk about the more important questions here. And the first one will be, what was the competition about, CFA Research Challenge, and how was the entire competition structured?
Right. So CFA Research Challenge is a global equity research competition, which is obviously organized by the CFA Society. Now, talking a bit about the structure, actually, firstly, we had the zonal round, then the regional round, followed by the national round, APAC round, and finally the global finals. Now, talking a bit about the zonal round, in zonal round, we are required to prepare an equity research report. The company is provided to us by the CFA Society. And in the following rounds, we have to build a presentation board based on that report in each and every stage. So if we get through to the regional round, then we have to prepare a presentation, which is a 10-minute presentation followed by a Q&A, and same for national round. But the most important aspect to this is that we can revise our recommendations and analysis in each and every round as per the quarterly updates of the company and if we believe that the future outlook of the company changes. Right. So the selection process in our college, we had a formal interview with the faculty, and it was primarily based a bit on the knowledge, but also more about how passionate and interested we were about equity research and this whole competition as a whole. So that was the selection process. We had a formal interview with the faculty, and then finally we got through.
Okay, perfect. Also, were you given a case to work on, or were you given a topic that you would have to research on? How was that structured?
So we were provided a company by the CFA Society, and we had to prepare an equity research report. Now, if we talk about detail into the equity research report, we started from conducting an in-depth industry overview. We studied the competitive positioning of that industry, post which we did a detailed analysis of the company. We developed the investment rationale, so we had to give a recommendation buy, sell, or hold. For that, we conducted an in-depth research of the industry based on company disclosures and company transcripts. Then we finally did the valuation, and in the last, we had to develop what are the key risks and the corporate governance.
Basically, actually, if this competition is all about the initial to make an initial coverage report on a particular given company. So, in contrast, other competition where you have given some problem and you need to give some solution, but it is mainly prepare a sell side equity research report in the primary round, and then afterwards the rounds are mainly to make presentation above that report. Both has a kind of weightage when you will succeed in the next round.
So, because you were given a company that you had to research on, and then you had to work on the entire research. So, were you already aware of the company that was in context, or did you have to get to know about that company and then research on it? How did it function?
The India is divided into 4 zones: North Zone, South Zone, East Zone, and West Zone. So IIFT comes in North Zone, and each zone is given a specific company. So like the North Zone, all the colleges in the North Zone were given Bata Shoe Company. So we got Bata. Then South Zone is given some other company, similarly for East and West. So we got the company beforehand, like well in time we know that we have to research on Bata.
Okay. Now, because this competition is based out of research and you had to create an entire report and everything, did you have a jury who would judge you on grounds of your research and your report?
Yeah, so before the jury comes into the picture, there were guides. So there was a faculty in the college itself. It was Dr. Shiba Kapil. So she was the guide for the project, as well as we were also given an industry guide from the CFA Society as well. So it's not just like you're doing anything without any guidance. So they were guiding us at each and every point as to how to go about in equity research, because since all of us we had the experience just in the the competitions that we participated in previously or whatever we did on our own. So we had no industry experience as such. So that was given by the mentor, which was assigned to our team.
That sounds like a very nice approach of teachers and the entire faculty of helping you out there.
Yeah.
So now, when the jury comes into the picture, how were they, and what did the jury comprise of, the panel comprise of, and what all were they expecting from the participants? What were they expecting from the research and your report?
So the first submission which we have to make is the report, and we don't usually get the results of the report until the end. So until the APAC round, we didn't know how our report went. But after when we got our results after the APAC round, so initially what happens is that when the competition starts, they line all the aspects on which they are going to judge us. It's same for the report as well as for the presentation. So we know beforehand on what points do we need to focus on, because those particular points are going to be judged. So that was for the report part. Okay, adding on to that, for report, there are like few things which matter a lot. One is you have to be very professional with the report. So when we started a report, initially we had to go through a lot of equity research reports to see how an equity research report looks like professionally in the real world. So yeah, that's there. You have to make a report which exactly looks like or comprises of the exactly same points of what a professional real life equity report looks like. That's one thing. Second is you have to be very much thorough with whatever you have written in the report. So for example, if there's something you don't think that it gives out the information which you want to give out, then we would suggest don't put that in the report, because everything you put in report, it matters. The report, though it's a 30-page report, it gets checked very thoroughly. So you cannot even put one single line that doesn't make sense. You have to be very thorough with whatever you put in the report. That's for the report. And when we go on to presentation, then again two things matter. One is the PowerPoint presentation which you have prepared, and so there the strategy which comes into picture is less is more. Even if you look at all the Asia Pac winners and the global winners, because the CFA has already uploaded those presentations on their websites, if you'll see, they make a very I wouldn't say small, but a very limited presentation. So they have very limited number of graphs. And all the other competitions which we make for other corporate competitions, what we try to do is we try to put in a lot of things in one single presentation. But there we need to understand this point that there's only 10 minutes to present. So we need to be very concise of what points we need to put forward. That's one part of the presentation. So again, it has to reflect in what you are saying and what your presentation is showing. So you cannot have like 10 graphs on your presentation and you'll speak just about one graph or 1 point, because you don't have that much of time. So try to put that one graph on the presentation which matters the most and speak about that one graph. So yeah, so being clear, being concise has the maximum amount of weightage when it comes to presentation. And apart from that, you have to be very, again, coherent and thorough with whatever you are saying, because after that you'll have a 10 minutes Q&A session. And again, if we see what kinds of question comes in the Q&A session, that the questions will directly come from whatever you have said in the presentation, because again, they cannot have an in-depth knowledge of all the firms that students are presenting on. So whatever you'll say in those 10 minutes or whatever will be there in your presentation, all the questions will be coming from those 10 minutes only. And you can expect the questions to be very technical. So you will be asked upon direct ratios. They'll ask you what a particular ratio of this firm is, or how that ratio compares to the industry peers. And again, so that's one point, talking about coherence in your presentation, that for example, if A follows B, B follows C, C follows D, but in your presentation A follows B, B follows C, C follows E, then you can expect that they will be asking on that particular point that why C is not following D and C is following directly E. So you're getting my point, right? So if there's anything different in your presentation that doesn't follow a similar path that should be following, or which is not compared to its industry or what's going on in the industry, you will definitely be asked about that particular point, and you have to have a very strong backup for that.
Because this is one of a kind. This is specifically designed for finance students. So what all roadblocks did you face, and did you have an idea before participating in this competition that this is what you will be asked to work on and this is how the competition will progress?
So we had a fair bit of idea of what we are expected to do. So we had gone through the submissions of our seniors, so we pretty much knew how to go about it. But then again, like as a team, you face multiple challenges while going through it. So one of the major challenges that I think we faced was, so you have qualitative analysis and your quantitative analysis for BATA. Like we had qualitative and quantitative. So we have to give a recommendation so that investors can either buy, sell, or hold this stock. So our qualitative analysis was saying a different recommendation, whereas quantitative was saying something else. But this should not be a case, because your numbers and your qualitative analysis should be woven together like a story. So this was the major problem that we faced, but then we sought guidance from our seniors, from our mentors, Dr. Shubha Kapil and the industry mentor that we were provided with. And then we realized that at the end, your qualitative analysis is the king. So based on that, we just changed our projections, we changed our qualitative numbers, and then, yeah, that is how we approached that.
Okay, perfect. I think, again, there's a good point here that you mentioned about the qualitative analysis being similar to what you are working on already. So why do you think that this competition is important for the ones who will be joining these schools this year? And why should they be participating and looking forward to participating in this competition?
So my advice will be, means if anyone is watching, that if you love to solve business problems and go through what is happening in the industry or particular business, then you should participate and at least try to participate in this particular competition, because this competition is not all about finance. As Shagun rightly mentioned, it is not about the numbers. When we talked about finance, it's always came boiled down to that there are numbers. You have to how to do valuation, how to do projection, but that is not the case. You have to know what the actual managing body is thinking about the company's futures, and what is the industry, whether there is any kind of disruption in the industry, how they are handling those, and not about apart from that, as this competition is organized by CFA Institute, so they have very hard guidelines regarding different kind of ethics and values. So you have an extra section for where you have to judge about their corporate ethics and governance. So that also you have to judge. So when we actually start this particular, we started working on the research report, we went through last 3-4 years annual report, and that means you are going through 500-600 pages of that particular companies, that how in last 5 years the company is changing through, and then you started to read different industry reports and all. So in case I believe that for this competition, the knowledge you can acquire is immense. And so for me, it is kind of a second MBA parallel to my whatever course I was pursuing in IIFT, because it runs almost for 6 months, and actually it could have been prolonged, extended to one more month if we have to run through global round. But and every round you have to check, like when we have submitted the epic round submission, so after that that was around I think March first week, so that the coronavirus and that what will be the impact of coronavirus, that come to in picture, that what we will be whether we need to change or not. So before the result was announced, epic, we also try to think on that particular line, that if we made to the next stage, then whether we need to make any kind of changes. And again, for every number you need to have a story, and whatever feedback we got from the juries after the presentation from regional round as well as national round at epic level, which has happened over virtually. So they always, the good part about our presentation was they always told that your presentation looks like a movie. So we had a defined plot, and the message was delivered quite convincingly. And we are also well prepared for the question answer rounds, because during the research report round, there was some problem understanding in writing the report, and I believe that was something which went against us, and that may be one of the cause that instead of being the highest scorer in APEC round for the presentation, we could not make through the global round.
Okay, perfect. I think you have motivated enough for you have motivated the incoming students enough to participate in CFA Research Challenge. And I'm sure that not only the finance students, but also the other students who will be joining MBA will be willing to participate in CFA Research Challenge. This brings me to another part of this question. Why do you think corporate competitions are important in general? And especially in these post-COVID times, do you think this is what will play a very important and a very crucial role in a B-schooler's life?
So I want to give a warning mark here. So unlike other corporate competitions, which actually give you PPI or PPO opportunity with that particular organization or a huge sum as a prize money, but unfortunately CFA Research Challenge does not have that kind of thing. But that's what actually hold you from participating in that particular competition, because actually what happens that this institute gives you a whole exposure to the industry. So the jury we faced in a regional round and national round, they are the a kind of industry professional who has a 15-20 years experience, who are managing a huge portfolio in their organization. So when you are so that kind of exposure you are getting, and then again as this year because of corona, the Asia Pacific round happened virtually, but otherwise you have a means opportunity to travel to South Korea, and the global round happened in USA. So I think that the parents should not think about that you will get a PPI opportunity or a huge cash prize. You should if you are motivated to gain knowledge about industry knowledge or about some technical knowledge also, you will get. It's not like that you will not get any other technical knowledge regarding finance. So that's the thing you should motivate.
Just to add on to this point, I would like to say that actually the name of CFA Society speaks for itself. So when you get to know that you have to participate in this CFA Research Challenge, there's a level of expectations that you have to meet. Also, what sets CFA Research Challenge apart from all other competitions is the level of research that you have to do. Even when we were presenting before the jury, we were required to know the business and the financials in and out. So if there was any irregularity in any year of any line item in any of the financials, we got to have a reason for that. Apart from this, even if you talk about the Q&A, so the jury over there, they act like potential investors. They are not concerned if they are a bit concerned if we are giving a buy or a hold recommendation, but what they are more focusing on is why you are recommending this. So this is the place where, as to why Shagun said that investment rationale and the qualitative analysis is really important apart from the quantitative analysis.
So I think as far as the MBA curriculum goes, so the maximum amount of learning comes from these competitions only. In the class, everybody knows that nobody focuses, like it's not a school that you have to like learn each and everything in the class, and mostly that's theory. And competitions are the only place where you get to apply those concepts what you have learned. So in that way, corporate competitions like help you a lot. And in fact, the depth of the analysis that goes in building a case solution or a competition like CFA RC, it's just immense. Like you get to learn a lot of things. You get to learn you get to make PowerPoint presentations. So that's like the biggest learning from the corporate competitions.
So adding on to Arushi's point, I'll speak from a first year's perspective of how how the competitions help you. So for me, our MBA started in the month of June, and we started preparing for CFARC in the month of August or September. And since then, every day we used to sit for like 5 to 6 hours preparing for that particular competition. So it gives you that kind of discipline you need to bring about, because again, what happened? So if you look at my internship, then what I did in CFARC, that same kind of project I had to do for my internship also. So I knew that, where I'll be facing that kind of problem, or how much time will it take for me to do evaluation of a particular firm, or what all parts do I need to research, or what could be the questions that I can expect from the jury this time in my internship. So it helps you immensely in your internship if you're going to intern in the similar field. If for example, if someone's going to intern with a PE, or in an equity role, or even for an investment bank, then the kind of internship and the project that you'll have in your internship will be very similar to what you do in your CFA-RC thing. So it gives you a practical hands-on experience even before an internship starts, and a very in-depth practical experience. So again, it was very helpful again when we look at it at a first year's perspective.
That was quite insightful, Meet and Arushi. Thank you so much for sharing those points. What advice would you all like to give to the incoming batch of students who will be joining B schools this year for participating in corporate competitions as well as their B school lives in general?
Okay, so regarding the corporate competitions, I would say that read anything and everything for the problem that you're given at hand. So if I talk about CFA-RC in particular, so we were given Bata India Limited. So read everything. You find financial report, annual reports, news articles, equity research reports, investor presentation, anything and everything under the sun. Find the implications from those materials, and then just try to connect the dots everywhere. Then going ahead, I would say that just build your own story. You may seek guidance from like number of people. Some would say something, the other would say anything. So just believe in your gut instinct, because it's ultimately you who have to justify your story. So just build your own story and just own up to it. Be confident when you're presenting, be confident in question and answer, and just be very confident about whatever you're saying. Next, I would say is you have to be very self-motivated when it comes to CFA-RC. So it's not like a normal corporate competition wherein you work day and night for a week and you just crack it. It's a relentless journey of 6 months. So especially for second years, if I say, we have our placement season during December, and sometimes we even get a PPO also. Then you need to have that drive to still go on with that competition, because doing a similar thing for 6 months takes a toll on your mind. So you have to be very self-motivated with that. And then I would just say, particularly with regard to CFA-RC, that just don't take your report lightly, because that is what costed us our APAC round. So yeah, just make sure you submit a well researched and a thorough report.
In addition to this, one thing that I observed, apart from saying that what costed us the APAC round, what our primary strength was that while we were presenting, each component of our presentation was not in silos. So just to reiterate that point, it is very important to ensure that you build a story around whatever you are trying to reflect to the jury, and you keep them engaged all throughout the presentation.
So about in general the corporate competitions, I believe the future students should participate in the B school and corporate competition, but you should not take multiple corporate competition in parallel. Your focus should be that I want to do this kind of case problem, and I want to focus on this kind of employers case problem. So just go for that. Don't be overburdened with 3-4 competitions in parallel. And also check out that sometimes we have seen that in case about the team selecting, here our team selection was done by the institute itself, but sometimes go beyond your friend circle. So it can be one added advantage that you might have not known what is one's advantage and disadvantage. Here I actually worked with Shagun before the competition, but I did not work with other three. But when we started to work in this particular competition, we come to know about what are the skills others has, and where I lack, what can I learn from them. So it is also a very good learning and platform for any competition can be a very good learning platform.
And I would just like to add one point, like in addition to learning, like please enjoy your 2 years of MBA life. That's not going to come again. Like we have started our jobs and we are missing the MBA life and the campus a lot. So just enjoy, like learning is there, but maintain a balance between enjoyment and learning.
because there's a race out there. If you join an MBA college, it's like, if you go in and tell someone that I did one Coursera course today, there'll be 15 people who will say, oh, I did 3 courses. So you have to like make sure, you don't get that fear of missing out, because that will be there every day. People will have that cutthroat competition, that mindset of competing. So for us, the main drawback was that we had to focus on just one competition for 6 months. During that time, our friends are like our batchmates, they participated in 6 other competitions. So you have to like stay focused, and like, because the same thing will, I think the same thing will happen again in future also. So because this is, so again, I just wanted to conclude it with what Arushi said, that enjoy your MBA life, because this is the last time, like we'll be in an academic institution. Very few of us would go and do a second MBA. So this is this is the last 2 years where you have all the freedom. So don't get into that FOMO. Don't have that fear of missing out. Enjoy your life. Enjoy, like, focus on one or a few competitions and party.
That's a very nice point, Meet and Arushi. I think I would like to emphasize this specifically, that despite all the competitions, all the pressure that MBA school puts on you, please party and enjoy your peaceful life, because this is not going to come back again. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with us today, for talking to us. It was very great interacting with you, knowing you and your story of winning. Thank you so much. We wish you the best for all your future endeavors. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you.